Hey, how's it going? Hope you guys are doing well on your projects. This is just a video to show you how to finish it up. So when you feel like you're done and you're ready to move on, here's the last steps, and these are very important. So first off, what you want to do is just go through in every layer and make sure that the colors are exactly what you want them to be. Just take one last look at that. So, for example, well, I mean, I missed some spots here, but I'm going to pretend like I finished this all up. But, for example, is that really the green that you want? Or those yellows? Do you want all your roses to be yellow? Do you want to have some variation? Do you like the skin tones and the hair? I'm pretty happy with the skin tones on this one, the background. But anyway, if there's anything you don't like, just find that layer. That's why you named them all. And you can, I don't know, let's decide that her eyes are now going to be a different color. So let me find the eye cut layer, and I'm going to just make them purple. You shouldn't do this, though, because I want you to be historically accurate. I don't want you to be coming up with crazy colors, but I'm just going to show you how you can do this. There, and I'll pull the saturation up. Ooh, there we go. But, I don't know, that's kind of cool if I just give it a little bit of that. It's kind of a bluish, I like that. Yeah, I mean, that's not accurate, but whatever. Don't do that. Okay, so you've done that. You've made sure all the colors are the ones you like. Now, turn off every layer, except for the bottom, of course. Alright, and then we're going to now take the first layer, skin, and we're going to change the mode here from, let me turn it on, from color to normal. Oops. And we're just going to check and make sure there's no spots we might have missed or went too far on. And you can see that this is pretty bad. So I'm going to pull the opacity down a little bit so I can just see what's underneath. And I'm just going to go through here now on my mask. And it's kind of hard to work back and forth. You got to just remember. And if you make a mistake, just Control Z it. And on my mask, I'm going to just get a brush here and just kind of, oh yeah, there's some spots that I screwed up on. Oh, sorry. I'll tell you about this later. Alright, so I just got to go in and, oops, using black. I can actually just use the back of my thing, because I've got it set to an eraser. So I can just go through here and fix that up. I'm not going to take the time to do that right now, but that's what you want to do, is you just want to make sure that every layer is no messy spots, nothing blank, you filled everything in. There's a couple of spots right here and here and here that still didn't have skin tone. So I know it looks a little scary, but let's go back to color mode. Change the opacity back to 100. It's important that you remember to do both of those things. And then you can turn that layer off. And then turn on the next one. Lips. And that one's fine, I can tell already. Let's look at eyeballs. Why? That's not really that important. If you'll notice, without that layer, if I add that layer, the eyeballs it's kind of hard to settle, but they just get a little bit of redness in them and skin tone. And, it looks a little weird by themselves. But without that layer, I think you'll see the eyes just kind of look dead. So I recommend you guys doing that too. You got to paint the whites of the eyes a little bit of skin tone. Alright, so let's pretend like I did that for all the layers. Let me turn them all back on here, and I'll show you the last step. The last step is to create a layer called highlights. So I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to call this one highlights. And on this one, you're not going to use a mask. Highlights. Change the mode to color. And no mask or anything. You're just going to color directly on this layer. So first off, skin tone. I'm going to start with that. And I'm just going to do something like this. I'm going to get a nice big brush. Almost like I'm applying makeup at this point. And I'm going to pull the flow down to a super low number, like 5% or so. 3% is fine. Pull the opacity down to like 25%. I'm going to turn on airbrush mode. And airbrush mode means that the longer you stay in one spot held down, the more paint it'll put. And I'm going to just make sure that my pressure sensitivity is on. So watch this step. Now this is subtle. You'll see this kind of slowly building up. But what I'm doing is I'm adding reds into her skin. And if I feel like this is too much, which I kind of feel like it is, I'm gonna just Control Z that. I'm gonna pull my opacity down even lower to like 8%. And now I'm just gonna hold it down. I can push really hard. I want a nice big brush, and may have to go over it a couple times, but I really don't want to overdo this. And you may not see much is happening, but what I'm doing is I'm just kind of laying over on top of her skin this reddish tone, just because we have blood vessels in our skin, and that is gonna show up in our skin. So we want to add a little bit of red to just kind of make that pop out a little bit. And to see the difference, if I turn this layer off, you'll see this is the before and this is the after, and she definitely looks more alive in the after. Again, before, after. And, you know, again, it's very easy to overdo it, so just be careful. If you do, you could just pull an eraser out and do the same thing with the low flow. You can just pull your eraser and just kind of dab up any spots that you feel like are just a little overdone. Just kind of pull it down a little bit. You could use, some students like to even throw in other variations of color. You know, we do have a little bit of blue in our face, so some students I've seen maybe throw in a little bit of yellows in certain areas, you know, just to give it a little variation, and maybe a little bit of blue. Let me throw in that real quick. And this is just kind of an artistic thing. You got to be careful. You don't want to screw up your painting, but throwing a little bit of variation and separate colors are going to make it more realistic and lifelike. If you want, you could do like little highlights in the hair, so I'll just get like a nice yellow out and maybe just throw in, you know, these are going to again be very, very subtle. If I wanted to get a smaller brush and do them, just so you can see what I'm doing, I'll pull this up a little bit just so you can see the effects of it, and you'll see that that just turned yellow right there. So, I mean, that's pretty ugly. I wouldn't want to do it like that, but I'm just showing you. And then, like, you know, little things like variations on the leaves. It'd be cool to just throw in, you know, okay, let's say this leaf is, let me pull that back down. Let's say this leaf is like a little bit wilted, so I'll just throw in a little bit of yellow on there, or just like a tiny bit of orange on another one, or whatever. And that is going to bring this just to the next level. It's gonna, you know, that's the type of stuff you see when people write books of colorized photos and stuff, or put them online. That's the kind of stuff that they do that that makes people, you know, want to spend money on it or look at it or whatever. So there you go. I would have to take about another half an hour to finish this up properly, but I'm not going to do that. And so make sure you take your time with these and go through this last step. It's very important. Thanks. Bye.